earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof, the world and they that dwell therein. For he has laid the earth's foundation on the seas, and built it on the ocean's depths. Who may climb the mountains of the Lord? Who may stand in his holy place? Only those whose hands are and hearts are pure, who do not worship idols and never tell lies. They will receive the Lord's blessings and have a right relationship with God their Savior. Such people may seek you and worship in your presence, O God of Jacob. Open up ancient gates, open up ancient doors, and let the King of glory enter. Who is the King of glory? The Lord strong and mighty, the Lord invincible in battle. Open up ancient gates, open up ancient doors, and let the King of glory enter. Who is this King of glory? The Lord of heaven's armies is the King of glory. Yes, it's on that note I welcome you to Press Drive on I-FLIER 103.3 FM, the perfect choice station for the high-flyers this morning. Yes, let's get started. How was your night? How did you fare? Top of the morning to you from wherever you're listening to us right now on I-FLIER 103.3 FM. My name is SAMSON, OMOTOSHO, but you can call me the Maestro. Yes, let's do it like we normally do every now and then. It's the TGF edition of the show on this lovely Friday morning. Yes, I'm not alone in the studio. In the course of time, I'm going to introduce my regular guests on the show every now and then. My analysts, we always do this together every now and then. So sit back, relax, and enjoy every bit of the information and the news we're going to give to you today. Yes, a new pope has emerged, and I'm sure that a lot of the Catholic community are really in their dancing shoes at the moment. Why don't we do it? Yes, Donald Trump, he did an AI of himself sitting there as the pope, and the secretary said they're going to respond. They have responded, because the American, the first in history, has become a pope, a Vatican, sitting there this very morning. Yes, let's get started already. A lot to treat. All right, so let me begin with the Punch newspaper this morning. A lot of stories that we're looking out for on the Punch newspaper. On the front page, refitting and repainting. Newly acquired presidential jet flown to South Africa. Refitting and repainting. We can see newly acquired presidential jet flown to South Africa. Another story here says Nigeria taps additional $215 million World Bank loan for palliatives. Nigeria taps additional $215 million World Bank loan for palliatives. Also, for Wigwe, business and economy part of the Punch newspaper, U.S. helicopter firm may face criminal charges. Don't forget that Wigwe and his family were actually in that helicopter that crashed sometimes I think that should be last year, thereabout. Yes. And yes, a solve Labour Party crisis before vying for presidency. Okay, so Akpabio taunts Obi, says solve Labour Party crisis before vying for presidency. Akpabio taunts Obi. Also, United Algeria-Morocco gas pipeline project there. And also, concerns mount over disbursement of El-Rufai's $350 million World Bank loan in Kaduna. Yes, concerns mount over disbursement of El-Rufai's $350 million World Bank loan in Kaduna. Insecurity. Yes, don't pit Senate against Tinubu. Yes, Akpabio wants minister. Says, don't pit Senate against Tinubu. Akpabio wants minister. Okay, sometimes I want to wonder. The Senate president. Okay, well, let's leave that. UK police recover Nigerian teenager's corpse inside lake. UK police recover Nigerian teenager's corpse inside lake. Also, Please begin probe as missing Osun man found dead in river. Yes, please begin probe as missing Osun man found dead in river. Also, arraignment of businessman over alleged 42,591 million. Of course, $42,591 loan fraud stalled. Okay. Also, residents, business owners lament poor Ogun Road. Also, gunman kill police inspector in highway ambush. In business session, Meta's exit may devastate 20 million MSMEs. IT firms is speaking here, says Meta's exit may devastate 20 million MSMEs. Also, Airtel of Africa rebounds with $61 million pre-tax profit. Okay, and OPEC April oil output falls according to report. All right, so moving on. Let's quickly touch on the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Economic reforms not to punish Nigerians, but to avert collapse, says Tinubu. Economic reforms not to punish Nigerians, but to avert collapse, says Tinubu. Also, still on the front page, says Tinubu. Also, still on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper, Shore blasts Peter Obi for gaslight on Kenya Airways over Gloria Omishore. Also, Africa takes note as Albania turns indictment into influence. Africa takes note as Albania turns indictment into influence. Invasion, unidentified policeman killing invasion of community. Though community demands investigation into unidentified policeman killing invasion of community. Also, we could see here another story says Iron Rod Distributors Union tasks federal government to ensure standardization of commodities in Nigerian first policy. Also, let's take a look at another story making the rounds on the Vanguard. Anambra unveils iconic National Tourism Tower. Anambra unveils iconic National Tourism Tower. Also, confusion trails a suspected kidnap of 18 passengers in Kogi. Confusion trails suspected kidnap of 18 passengers in Kogi. A monarch, another killed as armed herders invade Otukpo again. Monarch, another killed as armed herders invade Otukpo again. 10 men remanded over alleged rape, impregnating of disabled teenager. This is quite pathetic. 10 men remanded over alleged rape, impregnating of disabled teenager. In politics, Labour Party NEC suspends Abure Farouk for 6 months. Labour Party NEC suspends Abure Farouk for 6 months. Nayo Papabidis, Anambra. Okay, now our Papabidis, Anambra. All right, so on the Daily Post newspaper this morning, let's quickly take a look at it. Sexual harassment. I was never going to step down as Senate President, Akpabio declares. Well, this is laughable anyways. It says, for sexual harassment, I was never going to step down as Senate President. Akpabio declares he was never. Okay. All right, so new government house threat to Otis life. New government house threat to Otis life will be converted to hotel. That's coming from Commissioner. Says new government house threat to Otis life will be converted to Hotel. That's coming from State Commissioner there. Also, state visit. Give me land in Anambra for my retirement home. Tinubu to Soludo says, give me land in Anambra for my retirement home. Tinubu to Soludo. Well, Tinubu joins world leaders to congratulate Pope Leo the 14th there today. Okay, he joins the world leaders to congratulate Pope Leo. Also, we're yet to make decisions on Labour Party PDP disagreements. That's coming from INEC there. Okay, so let's take a look at the last newspaper for today, and we'll be done. And let's quickly move on to the Nation. Lastly, this morning on the Nation newspaper, Senate House to reconcile differences in tax reform bills. Also, Tinubu, we are wrestling down economic monsters. Who are the monsters? You get to know who they are by the time you go on the Nation to read further. Tinubu, we are wrestling down economic monsters. Yes, there's a full list. Nigeria, others not indebted to IMF. Yes, Nigeria is now others not indebted to IMF. Yes, Nigeria is now free from IMF. Okay, so well, a lot of talk. I saw that news yesterday and I was like, okay, Nigeria now free from IMF's debt. That would be very, 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 that would be the best news I would hear this year. Okay, so well, Hajj terminal ready for Lagos. Other news in mosque. Well, Ansardin inaugurates national ESCOs. Also, Davido says, I never imagined I would get this big. Okay, maybe he's big in stature. I don't know what he's talking about. But Otudeko says, court adjourns for continuation of settlement for Otudeko case. Saying court adjourns for continuation of settlement. In entertainment, I sing to evangelize and assist the less privileged, says Rachel Owojori. Okay, so also I released the Laho Lang before Charlie Poppy said urges inclusive government in funding for Nollywood. Also, Bama Music unveils Symphony of Sounds Talent Hunt show. That's the much we were able to take on several dailies this morning. Analysis comes up shortly. Stay with us. So well, let's quickly get to the story of the day. Yes, joining me on the program this morning, not one but two today. Yes, we are going to be very swift with our time and try as much as possible to be succinct with analysis so as to accommodate our time and also to get down to the calls for today. So well, joining me on the program as always, Honorable Femi Adebisi. Good morning to you and welcome to Press Drive.
Yeah. Barika Jimo.
Abi. All right. So well, let's joining me on the show this morning as well is Gabriel Babalola joins the conversation. Good morning to you. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Samson. Good morning. Good morning, Honorable. Good morning, everyone listening, and congratulations to all Christians and Catholics for the new Pope.
Yeah, even the global state.
Yes.
It's out to Christians.
And to Catholics and to everyone added by...
No, but because I have an issue with you saying that to all Christians.
The issue is cleared now. Honorable has built me up, at least.
Okay, because not everyone is a Catholic. That's what I'm saying. But congratulations to everyone anyways. Yes, it's a benefiting one. Yeah, so let's look at it. Let's quickly take on the stories one after the other. Refitting and repainting a newly acquired presidential jet float, 3 billion naira was spent on the maintenance and operations of the presidential air fleet from July 2023 to December 2024, the Punch reports. This was as the new presidential jet purchased last year has been flown to South Africa for refurbishment and upgrades. Findings by correspondent of the Punch from Government Spend, a civic tech platform that tracks and analyzes the federal government spending, revealed that for 2024 the payouts amounted to 14.15 billion naira, represented by 71% of the allocations for the fleet in the 2024 fiscal year. Most disbursements were labeled forex transit funds, usually funds allocated for foreign exchange requirements to facilitate international transactions and engagements. We could also see here for the presidential air fleet, such funds cover expenses related to operations abroad, including fuel purchases, maintenance, or services in foreign currencies. When aircraft on the fleet are abroad, payments are often made in the US dollars or another foreign currency to ensure we have uninterrupted operations, a government official explained. In July 2023, 1.52 billion naira was disbursed in two tranches of 846 million naira and 675 million for presidential air fleet forex transit funds. The following months, 3.1 billion naira was disbursed in three tranches in million naira for the same item. In November of that year, 1.26 billion naira was released to the presidential air fleet naira transit account. The first overhead for 2024 was in March, when 1.27 billion was disbursed twice, amounting to 2.54 billion naira. The transit account received 6.35 billion naira in April, 4.97 billion naira in May, and 210 million naira in July. It went on and on like that. Honorable, let's quickly look at this particular one, the air fleet. There are a lot of them. If you read down the story, you understand that there are about 7 of them that Nigeria has got, and it seems the presidency switches from one to the other as though it's a car. And we also look at it from another part where the expenses, where you have to maintain, you have to refurbish, and right now one of them has been flown to South Africa. Why South Africa?
Oh, why? You see, when you mention presidential fleet, that suggests to you that it's not one. So
about 7 of them.
A chain of them, yes, and they want to query, the rationale, behind having as much when you are not running a airline. I don't know, but you see, spending $20.03 billion
Naira.
Oh, naira now, yes, on presidential air fleet from 2023 to December 2024, raises eyebrow, especially in a country facing economic challenges. Such expenditure are excessive given the current socio-economic climate. And since 2027, budget allocation for the fleet have surged from 4.37 billion naira to 20.52 billion in 2024, making a 370% increase. So, and of course, when you begin to query the government, they want to justify that. The proponents of this spending now, they argue that the aircraft will save maintenance and fuel costs, potentially running into by millions of dollars annually. So they emphasize that the aircraft are not public. They are public property and not private properties. Those are the kind of
I actually mentioned 7, but from the story it's around 11.
Yeah, I told you. It's like if I
different models.
Okay, tell me which of the airlines in Nigeria have as much?
And some of them are
and
packed
look,
up.
You see, when Buhari was campaigning, he mentioned that those presidential fleet will be turned into. They will be returned to what you call Air Nigeria, so that they become productive. So whenever the president needs one, of course, all you need to is just to get one out of it, designated to the president. And remember, like we normally say, even in the United States, the president
Air Force One.
the Air Force One. So that particular air belongs to the Air Force. Designated to the office of the president. So that's the way it's supposed to be. And even in Britain, Yes, I mean, they are prime ministers sometimes, even go on train. So, but of course, that's the kind of people we are in this country.
I want us to.
And sorry if
Okay,
maybe say
quickly.
something. You mentioned something. You read something that the president said, yes, we are removing, or we have removed the economic monsters. Yes, what is that monster the president was referring to? But if there are monsters at all, one of the greatest monsters within their economy is corruption. It's all these all these frivolous spendings and all that. The banking cankerworms. The banks are there eating up our money and all that. You have a whole lot of things around us. I don't know what the president is talking about.
11 aircraft. Okay, let's look at it. If Nigeria's got 11 aircraft, the presidency, I wonder. Well, let's just leave that. Let's move on to another story there as well to see what is really happening. This is another way to talk about. Nigeria taps additional $215 million World Bank loan for palliatives. The World Bank has disbursed additional funds to Nigeria under raising the total amount released to $530 million, the Punch reports. Checks by the Punch yesterday on the World Bank's official website revealed that the cumulative disbursement has increased from the earlier reported $315 million in 2023 to $530 million this year, reflecting fresh inflows into Nigeria's accounts for the palliative program. Although the exact day the extra disbursement was made this year could not be independently verified, findings showed that the World Bank was yet to update the detailed section of its portal that typically records transaction dates as of April 30, 2025, suggesting that the disbursement was very recent and likely made this month. The $800 million facility approved on December 16, 2021 was designed to provide conditional cash transfers to Nigeria's poorest and most vulnerable citizens, cushioning the impact of recent economic shocks, including the removal of the petrol subsidy. Originally, the program was structured to deliver 5,000 naira monthly to targeted households. However, following policy changes introduced by the Bola Tinubu administration, the payment was revised to 25,000 naira monthly for 3 months, aimed at reaching 15 million households across the country. In October and November 2023, the World Bank disbursed $300 million and $15 million respectively to Nigeria under the program. A review of World Bank records at the time by the Punch showed that the cumulative relief, let's look at it. We are borrowing again, and this time not for anything but for palliative disbursement.
Yeah, I think it's almost impossible for any nation to exist without borrowing. So I want us to understand that most nations on earth are owing, and some that seem to be enemies are owing one another. It will surprise you how much China and the US are owing one another. So I want us to know that Nigeria will borrow. I'm not cursing. I'm just trying to make us understand that we will borrow. But I'm actually impressed with the news this morning that Nigeria was able to pay back the loan you mentioned the other time, over $3 billion loan by this administration. And if you look at the time of approval of this 800 million that you're talking about, you see that the money is coming in tranches. So I think that the major issue that should raise our eyebrow should be if these monies are actually used for what they are meant for, because this is the same money that Beta Edu was implicated in. And if you see how that issue was, how that issue came to light and how the issue was managed, you will see that it will look like you are borrowing into a leaking pocket. So which is even more devastating than the borrowing itself. So I think that's what we should look at. I think if this administration was able to pay back, that amount of money, I think that we should give them a benefit of doubt when we hear that they borrow. And if you bring Nigeria side by side with other developing countries and other organizations, IMF now out of it, and other organizations, you will see that how much we are owing side by side with other developing nations, and how and debt to GDP ratio of Nigeria side by side with other developing countries. You will see that Nigeria is still, in terms of loan, we are kind of still healthy.
I want us to look at it. I want us to look at the story. Gabriel,
I don't want to make it look like
Gabriel,
I'm encouraging borrowing.
Gabriel,
I want us
no, I like to take.
Hold on. I want us to look.
I don't want to. I don't want to just
Right.
bring the axe down on the government.
No.
For
I'm
borrowing.
not. No, I want us to look at the story itself.
And they are not
I am
borrowing.
not-
They are not
hold
borrowing.
on, hold on.
This is not a new. This is not like we are borrowing.
Gabriel,
new.
hold on.
This is an approved loan that is coming in tranche.
Whether they borrow loan or not, the story says it was borrowed for palliative.
Palliative.
Yes,
so that is the point.
Yes, that was why.
So
that
that's
was,
the
that was
point
why
I'm
I
trying to
said.
make.
That was why I said. That was why I said. When President came on, everything seemed to collapse at the very first day. So the title of the loan is a safety net. Safety net is just like you are falling from the sky, so that you don't fall on the floor.
All right,
You
let me
fall
hear
on
from
the-
let me
on
hear
the-
from
okay.
Honorable
Now,
quickly before we leave that story.
Yeah, the issue is this. We need to iron this one out. Something. Now the thing is, when you are borrowing for consumption, it is dangerous. If you must borrow for safety net, look inward. Block your leaking pocket. Prioritize your spending. Then you get something for what you call safety net. Now, you see, people are excited that we were cleared by the IMF that we are not a debtor nation. That is far from the truth. Yes. Now, let me just give you the picture now. You see, Nigeria paid back $3.4 billion loan that was loaned to us during the COVID. And, of course, yes, when it comes to that particular loan, we have been cleared. But every year, we are paying back $30 million. Every year. Yes. And that is what they call under special drawing rights. It's like a kind of retainership. Yes, that Luco, from time to time, I'm your member, from time to time, $30 million every year. Why can't we exit IMF? Whether you draw loan from them or you don't draw, then you are still paying $30 million. That is huge concerning our financial health in this country at the moment. And not only that, the entire our external debt, as we are speaking, still stand at about $33.25 trillion. Trillion naira, which is about $43.16 billion. So as at Q2 of 2023. Now, recently, we are cleared of about $1.61 billion. So now deduct 1.61 from 43 billion. So you know that we are still very, very much a debtor nation, and a bad one for that matter.
All right.
So we are not free when it comes to debt at all. And the one you said that you clear, you are still paying, whether you borrow or you don't borrow, you are still paying as much as $30 million annually. What kind of agreement is that?
Okay.
So it is high time we exit IMF.
Yes.
All right.
I
want us to take on other stories for one of time.
I think we should. I think it's true that we should exit IMF, but I think that just like Honorable said, that when you join an organization like that, like you join a cooperative organization, cooperative society, you will pay Ojuwe, and when you are paying that, that is what allows you to
retention.
I
understand.
I want to borrow. Like,
the retainership
allows you to borrow money at another time before Nigeria can actually.
I want to take other stories. there are a lot of stories to take because I don't want us to waste time on one story when we have so much to talk about. Concerns mount over disbursement of El-Rufai's $350 million World Bank loan in Kaduna. Not fewer stakeholders in Kaduna State have continued to voice out their concerns over the alleged uneven disbursement of the $350 million World Bank loan secured by the immediate past administration of the state under the leadership of ex-Governor Nasir El-Rufai, said to be most hit by the alleged injustice occasioned by the uneven disbursement of the loan are 12 local government areas in the state. These council areas have been identified to be left in the lurch years after the much-touted Urban Renewal Road project initiated by the immediate past administration of ex-Governor Nasir El-Rufai took off. Arewa Punch investigations revealed that that despite the continued repayment of the $350 million World Bank loan secured under El-Rufai's government, not a single kilometer of road has been said to have been completed in the affected local government areas, of which some of which are among the poorest in the state. Field investigations and corroborated testimonies from community leaders and government insiders point to widespread neglect in areas such as Benin Gwari, Giwa, Ikara, Jaba, Kagarko, Kaguru, Kauru, Kadan, Makarfi, Sanga, Suba, and Zamfon Kataf. Also, Arewa Punch. Sources further allege that the projects in these local government areas either never took off beyond the flag-off stage or were outrightly abandoned shortly after the groundbreaking ceremonies. Unimpressed by the outcome of the situation, several civil society groups and opposition lawmakers in the state have raised concerns over the opaque manner in which the loan was managed, especially in relation to equitable distribution of infrastructure. Honorable, let's look at it quickly. This is been indicted. We're talking about Nasir Rufai right now, of this particular loan that he took from World Bank, $350 million World Bank loan.
Well, you see, they are talking about that today because it's not in the mainstream. Yeah. And you see, El-Rufai is just a fine example of an average governor in this country. Sometimes when they are out of office, you find out that they have stolen in billions, and you want to wonder, okay, how much has been the entire allocation from the federal, from the federal post, and even the IG are put together. Yeah, they are not. That is not where they are saying. Those are peanuts. The real money they are spending are loans, and from special aids and all those stuff from
$350 million for a state.
Oh yeah. That is how they get the money. They steal. Now the issue is this: so when you see road and all that being developed in various states, sometimes you applaud, and they will say that yes, those are my scorecard. Go and ask them, how do they get that money? It's loans. Please, for God's sake, I don't know. I'm going to be an achiever. You have to use what you have to get whatever you want. That is the way it's supposed to be. That is ingenuity. That is what you call that is what you call creativity, innovative and enterprising leadership. Not just going out borrowing and then you see the larger part of it and then you just do something. Yes, of course, let them see that at least we have done something. That is not governance. So, that is what an average governor in this country, that's what they do. So, and not until when we stop all this federal allocation thing, let each state, let them eat as they produce. Let them eat as they produce. Don't go out getting money anywhere. That is when you are going to know who is who when it comes to leadership in this country. But you see, Nigeria, that is how we behave at the federal state. That is how we behave at the state level. What kind of people are we? Loan. And then you see nothing out of it. And if you are going to borrow at all, why not borrow for something that will support what you call sustainable economic growth and industrialization? Where are industry in this country? Where is the energy to support industrialization and economic growth? Where is it? Why are you not borrowing for that? But they would rather borrow for roads and water you don't get, and never borrow, or even borrow and eat it for energy. You don't see energy anywhere, and that's the bedrock. How about steel? How about some other things that support economic growth and families and all that? No, you won't say that. But roads, those are cosmetics. Those are very easy and cheap things.
All right, let's quickly take a look at the story. Gabriel, we're going to mix the story together. There are two of them. It's about Godswill Akpabio, the Senate president of the country. Insecurity, don't pit Senate against Tinubu, he said here. Akpabio warns Minister. I'm going to read the story and the other together. The Senate leadership on yesterday, cautioned the Minister of Defense, Mohammed Badr, that could create friction between the National Assembly and the executive led by President Bola Tinubu. The warning came after Badaru publicly dismissed a planned 2-day national security summit by the Senate stating that such gatherings were unnecessary in addressing Nigeria's security challenges. Speaking at plenary, Senate President Godswill Akpabio and Senate Leader Opeyemi Bamidele criticized the minister's comments, warning that such remarks could undermine legislative initiatives and strain relations with the presidency. At a ministerial briefing in Abuja on Wednesday, Badaru had said the armed forces were already better equipped and more sophisticated than insurgents, and emphasized that effective strategy, not summits, was the key to national security. Now, let me quickly Senate President about sexual harassment. I was never going to step down as Senate President, Akpabio declares. Nigerian Senate President Godswill Akpabio has declared he never announced the intention of stepping down from his position as leader of the National Assembly. Akpabio stated this on the floor of the Senate plenary yesterday in response to Senate Majority Leader Senator Michael Opeyemi Bamidele, who passed a vote of confidence in him. Bamidele, who has represented Ekiti Central Senatorial District since 2019, rose up to tell Akpabio that those who would have thought that the Senate would ask him to step down over allegations of sexual harassment must be disappointed by now. The majority leader thanked his colleagues for standing in solidarity with the Senate President, insisting that the lawmakers will also ask for evidence whenever they are accused of any crime. Gabriel, let's quickly look this story from one part. We could see the Senate President telling Muhammad Badaru, telling him that, hey, don't pitch us against the presidency. And right now, it's also being supported by the Senate leader, Bamidele. Both of them, I don't know, they've got this synergy together when it comes to the issue of the Senate, maybe protecting the image of the Senate, and said, well, I was not going to step down for anything, not even for sexual harassment.
I think you would expect that. You would expect that that Bamidele would have his back because of it's simply because of politics, and they belong on the same side. So I also think concerning the minister that whatever the minister was claiming, I don't think it's true. I don't think it's totally true that the military has insurgency in their pocket, or they have arms and ammunition to take care of them, and they are doing their job, because they still bring out what I think is propaganda, that these guys are foreigners. Yes, they may be foreigners, but down the pages of newspaper that these people are foreigners, these people are this and that. Now, if Senate were to do their job, I think this is one of those things they should be doing. I think they should do more, but so they should not want to do something and then the minister tried to wash it down. We're expecting that they will do much more than that. But if they are trying, I think that yes, they need to bring up that summit, and then everybody needs to come up and at least say something, and there we will hear one or two things that could help out. Only if they would even implement it. So if the minister is already saying no, we don't need that, that tells us that even if such a summit came up and somebody comes with so I think that the Senate President saying he was not going to step down, well, I think our people who are going to politics should have more conscience.
I'm more particular about the one pitched together. The constitution did not pitch them together, so they are pitched against one another. The legislators are supposed to provide oversight function, police, and all that. So meaning that, of course, they are independent of one another. And you see, when you are to, it's like the police and criminal now. Are they not pitched against one another? So you see, if they must function, if all those three arms of government must function, so I am, if the legislators are to provide what we call checks and balances, they are not supposed to be friends.
All right.
So
let's quickly go for this quick time out. We'll be right back after this break. Please stay with us.
Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce to you Mama Gold Semolina and Supreme Semolina. Yes, Are you looking for the best pasta and semolina brands for your family? Look no further. The gold standard of pasta and semolina, made from the finest ingredients, is here. A semolina is perfect for making delicious meals. And for spaghetti and macaroni lovers, we have Mama Pride spaghetti and macaroni, Crown Premium spaghetti and macaroni, rich in fiber, vitamins, and made from the best nutritional ingredients. Our pasta is perfect for you. Mama Pride macaroni, Crown Premium spaghetti, and Crown Premium macaroni. And the best parts, Crown pasta and semolina is available at a store near you at affordable prices. Be a king and queen in your home. Always with Crown Flours.
My people, me and you no get electricity wahala again. No, OIC Solar don't make and day easy kulele. With this new kind of bonga easy life solar product, we then just carry land with the multi for Ibadan. With this them powerful solar kits, we there for different sizes, original power stations like a 200 watts, 300 watts, 600 watts. With the inverter embedded solar kit, we get 6 brighter bulbs, an attractive solar radio within charging points. Bona fit take you charge your phones, correct solar freezer, different lithium batteries, tabular batteries, portable Android projector, different solar inverters, electric motorbike, we sharp as we sell, we install. Now so we repair power solar system and components. OIC. Now the Bonga confirm accredited distributor for all the companies them where they produce original solar products from Obodo Yibo them, big companies, churches, mosque, event center, everybody. Wakago OIC Solar Company today for Shop C4, NTA Shopping Complex, Agodi Gate, Ibadan. Now so then they for SAMSON Shopping Complex, Ekulodi Junction, New Ife Road, Ibadan. Website www.oicsolar.net. For Instagram plus TikTok, OIC Solar 1. Tulu 081 05020388. Better light don't come.
All right, so welcome back from that break. 0705 500 1033, 0705 500 1033, or 091 0905 444 1033. Hello, good morning to you. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning to
you.
Good
morning. Good morning.
Good morning to you. Welcome.
Yes, my name is Kelly Balabi from Laka Shaboru.
You're welcome.
First and foremost, I want to congratulate the new Pope for the post the election. I choose his same my Pope. I wish him best of luck. I wish him long life. And then I wish him, I pray that God will give him knowledge, wisdom to pardon the affair of Christian faith globally. Secondly, on the issue of payment credit to Bola Tinubu, who said that the economic reform is not to polish Nigeria, but to prevent it from collapse. My question is that the president made one mistake. He put the palliative first before he introduced all this subsidy removal and all this because Nigeria is suffering. He said he's not to punish Nigeria. Many people are dying. It is you need this one that many more people are there. Almost 200 people and 200,000 Nigerians are dying yearly due to poisonous food, rotten tomato, rotten pepper, decomposed beef. Government will find a solution to all this problem. Have a nice working day.
All right, thank you so much for that, for being very succinct on that.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning, Baba. Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Baba Lola, Baba. Good morning.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
My honorable.
Barika Juma, sir.
Now, I want to talk about people crossing to another political party.
Baba, that's not part of the story. Please take one of the story. Take one of it.
Loan. Wait. Let me talk.
Talk about the loan.
The man, Nigeria empty purse before, but is now creating, borrowing again, meaning that we, Nigeria, will continue to suffer. That is number one. Number two, as I see everything now, Nigeria should shine eye. Wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ la ojú wọn sílẹ̀ ní 2027 tó ń bọ̀ yìí. Ṣé nǹkan túbọ̀ dáa sí fún wa ni? Àbí nǹkan túbọ̀ èmi gbàgbọ́ kò dáa ni? Wọ́n bí nǹkan ṣe ń lọ sí ẹ̀yáwó náà tó yìí. Kì í ṣe nǹkan tó dáa. Àwọn ọmọ wa.
All right, so let's take another call. Hello, good morning to you. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Morning to you, sir.
It's Congressman Molodo.
You're welcome, sir.
The defection of people to APC doesn't mean that they will win. People, it may cause their fall in 2027. All those governors, they may fall down because the people will triumph in a democratic revolution. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being something there. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you.
This is Prince Bumi. I definitely call it from my partner.
Prince Bumi, you're welcome.
Legal analyst. Yes, sir. You see, I don't think we have a working system in Nigeria where things go normal. By now, Godswill Akpabio, the Senate President, should resign now. Because I don't know what achievement can we point out to since he assumed that office being the Senate President of this country. What has better in the House? What has better in this country? What the achievement so far in the House is fighting themselves, disciplining themselves. Any one of them that is trying to speak truth to power, that is trying to be on the side of the citizen, they will look for a way to silence that person, direct or indirectly. So Akpabio is not a good example to we youth in that house. That's my submission. Good morning.
All right, thank you so much for calling the radio. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Good morning to Barrister. Honorable sir.
Okay, good morning, sir. Oh, Comrade Sheriff, how are you?
Thank you, sir. Sir, about the Akpabio issue, see, he said leader by example. When Bukola Saraki was the Senate President, when the allegation against him through the CCP that time, he stepped aside and his deputy is the one that controlled the affairs of the House until the court could not seem guilty that didn't know anything about it. So Akpabio also to be led by example. If truly we are truly genuine democracy, see, that is the best way to go. But Mr. President, that he is the one that is doing the back and forth for every one of them. He should also keep his finger crossed all these days. He refused to utter any statement. What Mr. President taking right now is our 2027 election. And later, he will not tell us that they inherited empty treasure from EPC government. That's my own submission.
All right, thank you so much. Let's take another call. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, Baba.
I am Stephen Ujele. I'm calling from Okeru.
You're welcome.
Yes, as I met you here, I want to talk on. Baba said that why are they borrowing? Instead of borrowing for everything that can be productive, but they are not doing that. You know, when you read the source of reason of Baba Wolowo did a lot of things among his colleagues here, not part of the country, that he proposed many bills like nationalization, industrialization, street bag, economy. He's something ahead that the way things were at that time, he go to Boomerang, see many times that Baba Wolowo did all these things. They saw it as a news that means see the repercussion today. Why are they borrowing something that cannot productive? Something that can counter productivity. It's too bad. May God deliver them and go to the archive at that time. See where they are taken out to crossroads. Oh, I want to stop because anything I say it from the undiluted source. God bless you. Good talking.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, let's take another call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Francis.
Good morning, Tolu.
Yeah, this is Tolu. I give everybody in this today.
Okay, good morning.
Yeah, well done, sir. You see, borrowing is not a crime.
Yeah.
Really. But it becomes a problem when we are not seeing the essence of borrowing in the country.
You want to say it becomes a burden, not even a problem, a burden.
Yes. Yes, and it's like this government is just repeating the same mistakes that we highlighted from the regime of President Buhari, and that is the most unfortunate part. But we expect them to come and correct and right the wrongs of that administration. So you don't throw money at inflation. Who does that? And it's not like we have excess. We are borrowing to say we want to do palliative again. Please, where is the coherence in that? To me, it's just like a need for them to embezzle our money or to siphon our collective patrimony again. It's really because these palliative are not being fed in the country. So they should please show a new path. They should show more seriousness to governance other than repeating the same thing and you expect different results. Thank you. Good morning.
All right. Thank you so much. Let's take another call. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr.
Good morning to you.
Yes, sir. Just calling from Malacca.
You're welcome.
Thank you, sir. As regards the aircraft being taken to abroad for maintenance, to me, it's just a shameful thing for our government. Because in this state of economy, why can't they feed this year in a bid to encourage our local plants? So it's obviously this federal government is not leading by example, and it's quite unfortunate. They should please just try and do the needful, because we are tired of all this. Good morning.
All right, good morning. Thank you so much. Let me quickly go on Facebook. I can't take any more calls for one of time. On Facebook, Pastor Dr. Mukala Family Watch says, Barika Jimo to every one of you in the studio. Also, he says, okay, he was greeting anyone. He says, almost all roads is leading to APC. This is not good for Nigeria democracy. Ruling party should be careful. Almighty God will fight for the masses. Okay, so well, Miriam Yetunde says, good morning. Insecurity undoubtedly hindered from democracy and enjoy economic stability. Also, Taiwo Ajao Ogwati says, good morning, my beloved brother Taiwo Ajao.